Hey guys, I have a bunch of index cards to share with you today using Maremi Small Art's new ARTechniques collection. So I'm starting out on gessoed index cards, still trying to use up these scraps that I have, and honestly, some of them should just be thrown away, but you know me, I can't throw anything away. So I'm just going to take out some of these vintage ledger papers and excuse my poison ivy calamine arm. Okay, I didn't notice that was there. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to do some stamping on some of my papers. Some of the papers that don't have like a lot of writing on them or like light writing, I'm just going to do some stamping on. I have all kinds of different stamps, paint brushes, tickets, some flowers, all kinds of I just pulled out random stamps, just a bunch of them. And, then I'm going to collage my bits on my cards here, and my technique, if we want to call it that, for collaging is I start with my biggest pieces and then I work down to smaller pieces. So as you can see here, I'm laying out this big piece that's the whole size of the card. I'm going to rough up the edges a little bit. I kind of abandoned that very quickly. And then the pieces get smaller as I go. I'm also going to rip some pieces before I stick them down and just slap that stuff on there until I'm happy with the way it looks. And I'm going to do the second card as well. And then I'm just going to dry everything and trim off the edges. And I had so much of these papers that I ended up doing 3 cards. So then once they're all dry and cut out, I'm going to go over everything with a layer of gesso with my palette knife so you can still see a lot of that imagery through the cards. One of the cards, I really added a lot of gesso and put like a whole veil over the whole card. And the other 2, I just kind of put spots here and there so you could really see some of that stuff through the gesso. And I realized that this card had a little too much on and I wanted to see more of the stuff underneath. So I'm just going to try to scrape some of that back. Now it will dry back a little bit more transparent, but I just want to make sure that you can see things a little better. And then once I'm happy with that and everything's dry and everything, I'm going to go in with some of my scribble sticks in some of my favorite colors. You guessed it, fuchsia, cheddar, and what's this one? Turquoise? Peacock. And a little bit of umber. I'm going to spray my cards with water, and then I'm going to use the umber around the outsides and kind of move that color around a little bit with my paintbrush and some more water. Just get it flowing and moving and feathered out a little bit. And then once I'm kind of happy with that, I'm going to add some fuchsia on one, some peacock on one, and the middle one's going to get cheddar and fuchsia. And I'm just going to activate those colors. When I was doing these backgrounds, I didn't know where they were going to go or what I was going to put on top. But I had them sitting there to the side unfinished, and then Marta sent me her new collection, and I knew that these were waiting to get some of that put on there. So, yeah. So I'm just going to go in with a bunch of layers until I'm happy with the intensity of color. And then I can dry those. And go around the whole thing with my ink pad. This is a brown StazOn ink pad. I didn't want to do black because I didn't want it to be like too in your face. But I wanted a little bit of a darker color. So then I'm also going to do a little bit of stamping in the corners with some of the same stamps I used on my background vintage sheets. This here is just a ticket, and I'm just stamping part of it. And then I have my favorite row of numbers by Viva Las Vegas Stamps. Is that what this is? Yeah, row of numbers. And then this one here is like distressed dots with like a little bit of a frame. I love to use that around the edges. And then, so this is Maremi Small Art's new collection, and she sent me everything. She sent me the stencils, the paper, the cut-aparts, the rice paper, and this stencil here is kind of like a Baroque kind of situation. And so I'm going to use my texture paste, and I'm going to, on my middle card at the middle of the stencil, and I'm just going to go over the whole card with that design. And then on the side cards, I'm just going to make it look like I had put the cards together and then put the stencil down. So the one on the right is going to get the right part of the stencil, and the one on the left is going to get the left part of the stencil. So when you put them together, you can see the whole entire image. I just love this design so much. So then once I have all my texture paste on and I let it dry, I'm going to take some of these cut-aparts, these lovely, delightful flower cut-aparts, and I'm going to gesso out an area just so that my flower, they're so delicate and soft, I didn't want them to get lost in the background. So I'm just going to make a little area for them to stand out a little bit on, and then I'm going to glue them down with some glossy accents. And you might not know this, but Marta is, I would say, a good friend of mine. About 4-ish years ago, we did this monthly kind of challenge. We called it the M&M challenge because Marta and Mixed Media Chen, where we would do like prompts, some like mood board-ish kind of things with like colors, and we did it for like I think 3 months. So and then we made videos for our channels. So I have a playlist of all of our videos. I will put that down below if you're interested to see. I haven't seen some of those videos in years, and it was really cool to see like the different takes and stuff. It's the same as when I do the moods with Dee Dee. It's very interesting to see the different takes, but that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm going to take some of her word stickers. I took a freeze for the middle, and then some of the stickers have this delightful like scripty font. So I just backed one of the 2 of those stickers for the outer cards on cardstock, so I could cut it out around some of those swoops and stuff of the writing, which took a little bit of time, but I really like the way that looks rather than to have it blocked out, which is a good look too, but I don't know, I kind of like to make them look a little die cutty in this way. And then I'm just going to line them all, even my flowers, with my Stabilo Mark Saw water soluble black pencil. I'm going to add some light white, as if white wasn't light, some white splatters. Okay, so now I'm going to take her paper set. It has all these wonderful layered papers. I can't think of the word, and they just make fantastic backgrounds all on their own. So I'm going to take this one paper that has all these delightful like layers on it. I'm going to play a little bit off of what's going on in the paper just to make a quick and easy card. And I'm going to glue that down. I put a layer of gel medium over top to protect it, and then I went around the edges with my ink pad, and then I'm going to use this kind of like a, I don't know, splatter stencil. I mean, these stencils have names. I just can't remember what they are, but I'm going to link her her stuff down below, her shop, where you can see all this stuff that she has. So I'm just going to use my texture paste. This one has circles, so I'm kind of playing off those circles that the background paper has, just to do some repetition of the elements. And then I'm going to take my Lindy Stamp Gang Buccaneer Bay Blue, because it has a little bit of brown, a little bit of blue, like my card has. And I'm just going to add a little bit of that. And once I dry it, this paper is pretty dark. So once I dry it, you can see that like nice blue sheen, a little bit more than you can see like the brown color. And then the paper also has some like music sheet circle elements in it too, so I was going to play off that, and I cut out some sheet music. And then this butterfly is from her cut-aparts, these wonderful like ethereal watercolor butterflies. I'm going to glue its body down so its wings can be flapping around there. And I added a little leftover of that music paper in the upper right. And then I took my phrase sticker, and I'm going to use my Umber scribble stick to outline that to make it stand out a little bit more. And then I'm going to go over the whole thing with a light layer of that brown to tone it down a little bit. And I added a little bit of that brown to the butterfly too, to tone down some of that whiteness. Added some splatters to mirror those splatters in the background, and that's it for my 4 cards. Once I got Marta's collection, they came together really easy. I love serendipity like that. So thank you so much for watching. All the links that I mentioned will be down below, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye, guys.